Do you need really fancy, beautiful branding in order to start your business? That's what we're going to talk about today. And if you don't even know what the heck branding is, don't worry, we're going to go over that as well. My name is Ariana, and I'm the founder here at the 5D Business Collective. And today is another installment of our 3D Business Bites series. And 3D Business Bites is an opportunity to discuss some of the more like tactical, practical sides of entrepreneurship and the business world. Here at the 5D Business Collective, we like to work more within like the etheric realms of business. We love talking about using intuition, working with your both seen and unseen helpers in order to bring your vision to life. Connecting to that deep well of wisdom that is within you and using that to grow your business. And I really love to talk about all those kinds of things. And I know sometimes that questions come up around taxes, accounting, legal things, websites, branding, all of that. So 3D Business Bites is an opportunity to share some of those things just in a quick and easy to digest format. So today what we are talking about is branding. First, we're going to go over what branding actually is. Then I'll share my thoughts on whether you actually need like fancy branding in order to start or launch your business. And then I'll also share some DIY alternatives that you could use if you don't have a huge budget to hire a designer or an agency to do this for you right away. So what is branding? We always, or often, we think of branding as like the visual aesthetic of a brand. So we might think of the logo, the colors, the fonts. When you land on somebody's Instagram feed, what does that look like? What does their website look like? And the visual component is definitely an aspect of branding. However, branding really in a nutshell is what people say about your business. It's how they view your business. And we put so much time and energy and effort into how things look, and we don't actually really take the time to think about like, how does my brand make people feel? What are the words that come up when people think of my brand? What associations do they have with me or my company? And so part of the process of branding I love to do is to really think of my business as this separate entity, even if it's a personal brand-based business. So like the 5D Business Collective is not a personal brand. It's like it's its own thing. But my other business, Ariana Fotinakis Coaching, I'm like the face of it. I am the brand essentially. So that's a personal brand. So regardless of what kind of business it is, I love to look at the business as its own entity. And, we can bring in some practices. We can meditate on it. We can journey to the energy of the business. We can check in with the spirit of the business and see what wants to come through. But even if we're not doing that, taking time to think like, what are the main values of my business? What's important to me from within this context? How do I want people to feel when they come into contact with my business, whether in person or online? What's the vibe that I want? Do I want to be like really energetic and like I'm a hype girl kind of thing? Do we want to be really grounded and help people really drop into their bodies when they're interacting with us? So if we can start to think about how we want people to feel and what our values are, it can make it easier for us to start to show up in ways that are in line with that. And we can show up through the visual piece of our brand. We can show up through the types of content that we create, the things that we talk about, the ways that we show up. And I have always found it easier. I've been doing business for a long time now, and I've found it easier when I am allowing my brand to really be an extension of me. When I started my personal training business back at the end of 2012, I was very like fitness girl, like here's Ariana kind of thing. And like, that's not how I am naturally. And so I really had to like play pretend every time I was putting myself out. Whereas now, both of my businesses are very much more in line with my energy. So I don't have to like put on this mask when I show up and do things in my businesses. So in a nutshell, branding is the experience that people have when they come into contact with your business. Now, there's a lot of talk about like logos and websites and professional photos and how am I going to curate my Instagram feed and all of these things. And do we need to have all of these things in place before we launch our business? Now, I will preface this by saying that this is just my opinion. I am not telling you what to do. You are the boss of your own journey here. But personally, I don't think it's necessary. I have seen a lot of people spend a lot of time and even more money trying to get all of these things in place and to have everything look perfect before they start their business. And this delays them starting their business far longer than they need to, which sucks because if we have something within us that wants to come out, we don't want to keep holding that back because we want things to look a certain way. But on a bigger scale, what we are doing is we are not helping the people who we were put here to help because we're just fiddling with the back end stuff. So what I suggest to folks is to just get started. You know, in one of the last videos, I talked about websites, some alternatives to websites if you don't want to get started with that right away. Realistically, you don't need a logo. You don't need letterhead. Like, does anyone even send letters anymore? I don't know. When I see branding packages now, I'm like, so much of this is irrelevant. Sorry, but it is. We can be more effective with our time thinking about that like energetic piece. Like, what do I want to convey through my brand? And the visual stuff, it can come later. We're not really in a world where we're handing out business cards these days. Logos could be argued that they are important, but at the same time, they're not really. I think of a lot of the people who I really admire within the entrepreneurial world, my mentors who I've learned so much from, and I don't know what their logo is. I'm not associating them with a logo. I'm associating them with how I felt when I came into contact with their brand online, either through a podcast or through free content. And then I just wanted to get to know them more through that avenue. Big brands, they spend a lot of money on logos because there's so many little symbols and design pieces and things like that that allow us to associate a brand with a certain thing. But if you're just starting and if you are a personal brand or you're wanting to start like a community or something like that, and you have this idea but it's not fully fleshed out, who cares? Just start. It will get more fleshed out as you go and do these things. We were just talking about this on a call. We have a monthly mastermind session with our members in the collective each month. And one of the members was asking about how do you know what to start with when you have all these different things that you want to do? Just start and it will become more clear. Let's say we start our business doing one thing and we create our branding around it. We have this beautiful website. We spend thousands of dollars on a designer who makes our logo and does our website and does all of our branding. And then we go out and we start working with clients and then we realize that we're actually being called to go in a different direction. Oopsie, now you get to pay that designer more money to go and make those changes. So I really, really encourage folks to just let it be messy. Start without all of the bells and whistles. No one actually gives a shit anyway. And then as you become more established, maybe you can do those things or maybe not. I did a DIY website in December of last year, and it was the first time I was ever happy with a website. Our logo for 5D Business Collective was made in Canva. I've seen other people with it, and I don't care because I know people aren't associating the 5D Business Collective with that little circle and the green thing up in the corner of our Instagram feed. They're associating us with the kinds of content that we share and how we make them feel. So that brings me to my next point. If you do want to have some aesthetic pieces, what are some DIY alternatives if you don't have thousands of dollars to drop on a design agency? Canva is a wonderful tool that you can do basically anything with. Like I said, our logo here for 5D Business Collective was made through Canva. I made my logo for my other company, Ariana Fotinakis Coaching. I made that through Canva. And hi, nice to see you again, Jessica. Twice in one day. And yeah, Canva, Courtney's best friend forever. Courtney is a whiz in Canva. And even if you feel like you're kind of design challenged, there's templates in there. You can Like, I love to look on Pinterest and Creative Market and see what other people are doing for logos. You can even buy like pre-made branding templates. I actually did that, and then I just kind of reworked things around for my other business. I just changed the colors and things like that. And I think it was like $49. And I love the creative process. I love to like play around with things and again, like see like what energy is coming through with this combination of colors and these images and things. And so you can do all of that in Canva. It's as simple as like using the logo template and then saving it as a PNG with a transparent background, and boom, you can slap that puppy anywhere and it will look great. So, we don't need to have thousands and thousands of dollars to invest into our branding agency right from the get-go. You can do it for free on Canva. You can go on Creative Market and spend $20, $40, $100, even $300 if you want to get like a little pre-made branding kit. You can get a logo made on Fiverr. There's so many options where you can do these things at a low cost. And investing in yourself and your business is great. Don't get me wrong. I'm on a big funding kick right now for 5D because I want to have as much money coming in so I can really invest in the growth. And it is absolutely not a necessity in order for you to start helping people. So I want to really nail that into your head, is that we don't need to have all of these places in peace in order to start helping people. The ego mind will likely come in and be like, well, is anyone going to take me seriously if I don't have this? What are people going to think if I don't have a website? Blah, blah, blah. All of those normal thoughts that will come up. And it's really just imposter syndrome. It's your brain trying to keep you safe. It's trying to prevent you from stepping into the unknown. And so we can acknowledge that and say, thank you for making me feel like I need a $3,000 website that's perfect. Thank you for making me feel like I need to have a beautiful logo in order to get started. I'm going to choose not to listen to you, and I'm going to go and do the thing anyway. So my friends, please, I'm always really impressed when my friends do launch businesses and they've got all the branding and stuff in place. I'm like, I don't know how you do that. Like, my brain just does not work that way. I need to start, and then I need to kind of be in the trenches and figuring things out, and then we can have the visual component come later. If anything, I suggest you spend time connecting with the energy of your business first. What are your values? How do you want people to feel when they come in contact with your brand? What's the experience that you want them to have? And all of that can be conveyed simply by you showing up. It has absolutely nothing to do with what is on the computer screen. So my friends, I hope that landed for you. If you were contemplating spending a lot of money on a branding designer, I hope I maybe swayed you that you can use that money for something else, because there's so many things we could spend money on when starting our business, and most of it's also not necessary. So yeah, if you have any questions about that or any thoughts of how you like to convey the energy of your brand, maybe without the fancy branding, I would love for you to share below. Your insights and your experiences are so valuable for other members of our community to hear from and learn from, so please do not hesitate to share. And as I've said at the end of these videos before, if you have any questions that you would like covered in a 3D Business Bite segment, please just send us a DM and I will be sure to cover it. All right, my friends, have an amazing Thursday, and I will catch up with you next time.